Hello, don't hate me for saying this, but the truth is, you already know what you need to do to achieve the goals that you have. So the question is, why are you not doing that? And today I'm going to prove to you why you already know what you need to do by using the Bible to explain my point. So if you are struggling with overeating or binge eating and you want to stop overeating so that you can lose weight and hopefully have an amazing body that you want and feel good in your body, this video is going to help you to achieve just that. And this can work for all the other goals that you have in life. Trust me, this is good. So I'm going to explain to you something called the Solomon paradox. Now, Solomon was the son of David. Now you're like, who on earth is David? Like, hopefully you read the Bible. If you don't worry, you are still going to learn from this. So I'm going to read to you from First Kings chapter 3, from verse 5 to verse 11. It says right here, at Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And God said, ask what I shall give you. Now we see God here appearing to Solomon in a dream. And God asked Solomon, what shall I do for you? And here is Solomon's answer. Let me read you. I'm going to read from verse 9. It says, give thy servant therefore an understanding mind to govern thy people, that I may discern between good and evil, for who is able to govern thy great people? So you see Solomon asking for wisdom from the Lord. And verse 10 says, it pleased the Lord that God had asked for this. And God said to him, because you have asked for this, and you have not asked for yourself long life or riches or the life of your enemies, but you have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right. Behold, I will now do according to your words. Behold, I give you a wise and a discerning mind, that none like you is been before, and none like you shall arise after you. So you see God giving Solomon wisdom and promising him that after him, no one was going to arise like him. And Solomon became wise. Now, if I read here from verse 24 of the same chapter, First Kings chapter 3, now we see two women who came to Solomon. The dispute of whose child is this. They were both saying, this is my child. Now, here we see Solomon making a very wise decision. I think it's the most famous act of wisdom that is ever recorded. So, Solomon became famous for being wise. And if we read from chapter 4, verse 34, it clearly says here, and men came from all peoples to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and from all the kings of the earth who had heard of his wisdom. So we see people coming from all over the world to listen to Solomon and to hear his wisdom. But there was a problem. Because if you read from 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1 to 4, it says something serious. It says, now King Solomon loved men, foreign women, the daughter of Pharaoh, the Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonite, Hittite woman. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wife turned away his heart. So you see, Solomon, despite being very, very wise, his own life was a mess. But how can someone who is very wise like that ruin his own life? How can someone who knows how to give other people advice not follow their advice himself? Well, that's where the idea of the Solomon's paradox comes from, which is in our lives we're usually wise and we know good advice. In fact, we can give other people good advice, but for some reason we don't follow it ourselves. There have been studies on this where they describe someone's situation to that person, but that person doesn't know that the researchers are describing his exact situation. So he starts to give advice to that person without knowing that he's giving advice to himself. And turns out people actually give good advice to other people, but for some reason they don't follow it themselves. So there's a chance that in your own life right now, You have a problem that you are facing, and you actually know what you need to do, but for some reason you are not doing it. Why? Let me teach you how to use the Solomon's paradox in your own favor to help you to achieve your goals. So I'm going to give you 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself. And if you ask yourself these 3 questions, you're going to be able to, look into your inner Solomon and give yourself some amazing advice. The first question is if you could go back in time 1 year ago and talk to your younger self, this is the challenge that you are facing right now, what would you tell him? You need to listen to that advice today. Even though you would tell it to someone a year ago, but you still need to listen to that advice today. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is what one thing do you keep avoiding because it makes you uncomfortable? Or what one challenge that you keep avoiding because it makes you uncomfortable? And now go and do that thing right away, because that is the thing that you need to do. The third question is what are you going to look back to 1 year from now and regret not doing? Just pick one of these questions and just journal about it. Just write down the answers, and if you want to be a beast, just do them. Do the stuff that you know you need to do, and hopefully you make progress. If you want me to help you one-on-one to stop overeating for good and to become a normal eater, to love your body, all that good stuff, comment the link below and I'm going to help you.